Okay, so what if pretty much everything you think you know about millionaires is just wrong? Today, we're going to dive into the incredible research from the Millionaire Next Door and uncover the secrets of who America's wealthy actually are. And trust me, it's not what you see on TV.
This quote right here, it just nails the whole problem, doesn't it? We've all been sold this idea that being rich means spending like crazy. It's a nonstop show of consumption. But the real story, the one backed by data, is something else entirely.
And here it is, laid out plain and simple. On the left, you've got the myth we're all familiar with, right? The Instagram lifestyle. But on the right, that's the reality the researchers found after studying actual millionaires for years. It's a life of deliberate, disciplined, and honestly, kind of boring choices. So let's start by just tearing down that myth. Where does this powerful and frankly really misleading image of wealth even come from? It really boils down to this one simple, catchy, and deeply wrong idea. Society, especially the media, just hammers this into our heads over and over. But here's the thing, this belief, it's the very thing that stops most people from ever building real wealth in the first place. All right, this brings us to this amazing Texan phrase that just captures the whole idea perfectly. Big hat, no cattle. Someone who looks the part but has nothing to back it up. The researchers found that for real millionaires, it's usually the exact opposite. And this is a quote from a real millionaire they interviewed for the book. This guy drove a 10-year-old car, lived in a normal house, but he had the cattle, the assets, the actual wealth. He wasn't worried about the hat at all. Oh, this anecdote is just fantastic. It completely shatters the stereotype. So the researchers get this group of decamillionaires together, right? They try to impress them with fancy wine and food. And the first guy just goes, "I'll have a Budweiser." It was the non-millionaires in the room who went for the gourmet stuff. The actual wealthy guys just wanted crackers and a beer. Okay, you ready for this? Let's hit some hard numbers that might just blow your mind. The most a typical millionaire in this massive study had ever paid for a suit was $399. Not thousands, not some fancy bespoke thing. $399. And it doesn't stop there. How about a watch? The ultimate status symbol? Forget the Rolex. Literally half of the millionaires surveyed had never spent more than $235 on a watch in their entire life. And their wallets, well, they tell the same story. This data is wild. They are far more likely to have a Sears card than a fancy Saks or Brooks Brothers card. It's because they're shopping for value, not for status. So if it's not about spending a ton of money, then what is it about? Well, the book argues that the absolute #1 key to building wealth is playing good financial defense. The key word here is frugal. And let's get this straight. Frugal doesn't mean cheap. It means efficient. It means you're the opposite of wasteful with all your resources, your money, your time, your energy. You can think of it like a sport. Playing offense is earning a big salary. And hey, that's awesome. But what the researchers found time and time again is that what separates the truly wealthy from the high-income people who are broke is their defense, their budgeting, their planning, their discipline. You can have a great offense, but you'll never win the game with a terrible defense. This story is it's incredible. So a husband's company goes public, and he gives his wife stock worth $8 million. Her reaction? She says, "I appreciate this," and immediately goes right back to clipping 25-cent coupons at the kitchen table. It just shows you, for these people, frugality is not a phase. It's a deep-seated habit that just doesn't change. Okay, now for a really interesting, kind of counterintuitive idea from the book, the danger of helping your adult kids too much with money. I know, it sounds like the right thing to do, but the data tells a very different story. So let's just ask the question directly. Could giving your kids money, helping with a down payment, regular cash gifts, could that actually be sabotaging their ability to build their own wealth? The book's answer is a pretty clear yes. The authors actually came up with a name for this whole thing: economic outpatient care, or EOC. It's just a regular flow of cash from well-off parents to their adult kids, who are basically living on a subsidy. And the impact is it's so stark. The child who gets all this help gets used to a lifestyle their own paycheck can't support. They become amazing at spending money, but they're terrible at saving and investing it. Meanwhile, the kid who doesn't get the handouts, They learn the discipline and self-reliance they actually need to build real, lasting wealth for themselves. And here's the real paradox, the part that's just crazy. You'd think getting free money would mean less debt, right? Nope, it's the opposite. The data shows that those who receive economic outpatient care consistently use more consumer credit. The gifts just fuel more and more spending. Okay, so we've covered a lot. What can we actually take away from all this? Let's boil it all down to the core principles of what you could call the millionaire mindset. Look, at the end of the day, it's a mindset. It's about discipline being way more important than how much you earn. It's knowing that a good financial defense is how you win. It's understanding that wealth isn't what you spend, it's what you accumulate. And most of all, it's about choosing financial freedom over looking good to other people. And hey, if you're thinking, yeah, that's great, but it's probably out of reach for me, just look at this number. The book found that a whopping 80 to 85% of millionaires in America are self-made, first generation. They didn't inherit it, they built it, often from nothing, using these exact principles. Which really just leaves us with one final question for you to think about. The research is so clear. It's the small, consistent habits that build fortunes over time. So take a hard look at your own habits. Ask yourself, what is my lifestyle actually building? Is it building a life of consumption, or is it building a future of true financial independence?